Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our TEPSA Talk podcast. I'm your host, Todd Nesloni, the Director of Culture and Strategic Leadership here at the Texas Elementary Principals and Supervisors Association. We are thrilled to bring you different thought leaders from around the world on every single one of our episodes, and I am so excited to have back a guest that we have had on before, who I just love all the work she's doing, and that is Kamilah Antoine. So, Kamilah, thank you so much for being here. Kind of tell everybody a little bit about who you are if they haven't heard you before.
Awesome, Todd. Well, first of all, thank you for having me back, and thank you for this wonderful partnership that we have. As Todd mentioned, I am Kamilah. I am a implementation specialist with Harmony, and so what I get to do is work directly with teachers, administrators, counselors, social workers, school staff, campus educators on implementing our work. If you're not familiar with Harmony, we do a lot with social and emotional learning. We do character development. We really try to work on those life skills and just lifelong social skills for our students through our curriculum. But we also do a little bit of work with taking care of the educators in the building as well and building their capacity. So my role is predominantly to work hands-on with teams of educators across the country, really, particularly in Texas where I am, and to do that with them. My personal background, where my biggest passion is my background as a school counselor, as well as a special education teacher, and I was a district administrator for a few years as well. And so I get to bring all of that passion and all of that experience to me in this role now in helping and work with districts across the state as well as the central region of the U.S.
Well, Kamilah, TEPSA is so proud to have Harmony as one of our partners. And I love that you're based in Texas, too, because I know our people, when they hear that, they're going to think, okay, well, maybe I can trust her because she actually knows what we're talking about down here. Because, in Texas, we can be a little bit different at times in some other areas. But, today's episode is all about us taking charge of our own learning. Whether that is as an administrator taking your charge of your learning or helping your teachers and other staff members take charge of theirs. Now, when we talk about this, though, I know the first thing that administrators are going to hear is going to be, or is going to think is, take charge of my own learning. Like, when do I have time to learn, Kamilah? Like, I've already got 1,000 things on my plate. Like, what do you mean take charge of my learning? So let's start there. Dive into that for us a little bit.
So from our standpoint at Harmony, in order for us to be able to thrive, not just survive in education, but thrive, we've got to be constantly filling our buckets, right? Filling our buckets with all things rest, relaxation, but we also have to fill our buckets with more knowledge to build our capacity to be able to meet the new demands that we face as educators in this new post-pandemic space. And so it's really important to recognize that if we don't take charge of our own learning, then who will, right? We have to give ourselves that space. And so I love that through our Harmony Professional Learning, we really have provided on-demand modules, which allows you to figure out when it best works for you. Some folks are ready to decompress at the end of the workday, but maybe on a Sunday may want to engage in a module on how to best, build healthy relationships with their students. They can engage in that module at their time. So we have options for both live and on-demand ways in which you can continue to learn, but it is necessary and very critically important that we continue to fill our tanks so that we stay the course and we are sustained in the difficult times that we face as educators.
Well, and one thing that I always tell people too is, how can we ask kids to come into a school building every single day and learn all day long if we aren't learning ourselves? And it all comes down to what we prioritize. And the reality is, and you know this, Kamilah, that even when we think we've got things down and we've got a good rhythm, everything changes. The state changes expectations, a pandemic hits, an ice storm happens, whatever it is, things are always changing, and we have to constantly be educating ourselves because there's a lot of layers to education. And so we can't be experts in all of it. So as a school administrator, as I'm listening to this, I'm going, okay, Kamilah, I know how to take charge of my learning. How do I convince my team that this learning is a great opportunity. It's not one more thing on their plate. It
Mhm.
really will help them be better for their students, because that can sometimes be a difficult piece. I mean, I may
Yeah.
understand the importance of learning, but how do I
Right.
convey that well to my people so they don't think I'm just adding more to what they have
Mhm.
to do?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I think that it's important to recognize that with any type of learning, you have to think about the whole human, right? It's not just about how can I learn new strategies to be a new math teacher, but it might be how can I take care of myself with self compassion
Yeah.
and also learn new assessment strategies that can help me further, right? Get to know and evaluate my students' project progress and success. And so through our modules, we have actually over 88 different modules, and they're broken down into multiple categories from, again, building the capacity of the educator from a more technical standpoint to how to interpersonally work on things that have to do personally with self-compassion, managing teacher stress, just those simple factors that sometimes get left off. And so I think it's about really providing a balanced
Yeah.
packaging or balanced proposal of things where it's not just, hey, it's, cranking out, get better scores, do more work, strengthen the task in the students, but it's also about building the adults and
Yeah.
making sure you're taking care of them, they themselves, so that they can be better. And so really providing a multifaceted approach to all the offerings that you're giving, so that then the adult themselves can say, hey, wow, okay, this does look like a really good menu of options. So yeah, I do want to, get better at my assessment skills, but I also want to take a look at this, how to manage stress and how to kind of think about my self-compassion from a variety of standpoints. So I'm there to really pick and choose what I need to fill my own tank individually.
And when we educate ourselves in some of these areas, it actually relieves some of our work down the road. And what I love about Harmony is the social emotional components, because I think no matter where you go, some of the biggest things we hear right now are discipline,
Mhm.
engagement, all these kind of things. And I feel like educators and administrators are just crying out for help. And that's what I love about what Harmony offers, is there are so many components that don't just focus on academic content, because a lot of our educators, they have that base, that foundation there. It's the social emotional side that's all over the place.
Yes.
that
Yes.
we think we have it down until we get a student we've never had to deal with before. And so talk to me a little bit about some of those social emotional components that Harmony offers.
Yeah. So again, when it comes to the social and emotional tools that we really build, the first thing I'm going to say is we really work hard at building climate and culture in your classroom. Really, even beyond the classroom, when it's really done with fidelity and done on a school wide or a campus wide basis, we're looking to build connectedness, right? When we look at the studies on absenteeism, when we look at the studies on bullying, things like that, a lot of it is because our students don't feel connected. And so what we want to do is really build a community and a place where not just the students feel connected, but the adults feel connected as well. And so in a few of our Harmony modules, we have some on building relationship between staff and administrator, so that it goes beyond, it becomes more of a cultural systemic thing where we're all working on building those better relationships. Of course, there are resources around emotional regulation and really processing how you manage feelings throughout the day. As humans, we all know, like, our day can start off great and then something happens and it gets rough, and then we have another moment where we're okay. And so we kind of have this emotional roller coaster that we go throughout. So we have several tools built in, not to just our curriculum, but as well as the professional learning modules that really give actual, like, tangible steps on things that we can do to help with regulation. That's really critically important. So there are several different components that are there that I think can really benefit not just the students but the adults. When we think about teacher well-being being something that's so needed right now, I think it's important for us to prioritize that we take care of the whole human in that aspect.
God, just hearing you talk about some of that, I'm like, I could have so used those with some of my staff, especially the interpersonal relationship thing. Like, I don't know
Mhm.
how much that's out there that I never had anything to share with my people. But B, I'm listening to stuff going, I need to watch that video. I need to learn some of the other things that you're saying. So I love this. So I know for those people who are watching today's episode, you've got a little bit to share with us as well, right?
I do. I do. And so I would like to be able to share that. Awesome. So just looking at our portal, when you're able to kind of get in there, what I want to do is show you all a very quick tour of how you can access these services and resources. And the wonderful thing about it is they're free. They're actually free of charge. So you all can have access to them immediately. If you want a live trainer, because we have heard that from some districts where they're like, we would prefer to work with someone live. We can at cost come and actually bring the modules to life for you. But if you want access to the on-demand modules, you have access fully. And so you're going to notice when I get into here, I'm looking at our map of modules where we have building teacher practices, and then we have developing social and emotional capacities. And so all of these modules are laid out in a way that kind of are clustered by subject matter, where you can look at the different clusters and kind of discover what it is that you would like to learn more about. So for example, let's look at maybe our interpersonal topics, since we were just talking about that. When I go in here, I'm able to see maintaining professional relationships with colleagues, maintaining professional relationships with students, meaningful relationships with educators, right? And so if there's so many pieces, when I go into the module, this is the one I was referencing earlier, relationships between educators and school leaders. You'll notice that the modules are very interactive. So I'll first say that it's not going to be a sit and get. It is going to be interactive. So there are portions where there are scenarios that are given. It actually has you type in things. There are videos, vignette snippets where actual administrators and educators were interviewed to share parts of it. And so you can see all the lessons broken down. All of the modules are either 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And so it's done that way so that you can choose how much time you want to give. It will hold your spot. So if you're engaging in it on that Sunday afternoon and you decide, okay, I'm going to get back to it later, it will remember where you're at. And so you'll pick up right back where you left off. You also have these resources here on the right-hand side. You've got a transcript of the entire document. You have a summary if you want to check out, like, give me a synopsis of what this is talking about. You've got a summary. You have a note-taking guide that you can engage in independently. You got a coaching guide. So if I am, let's say, a principal or I'm an academic dean, and I want to do this with my PLC, I can ask everybody, hey guys, go ahead and go into the module, and I have a note-taking guide for you. Here's a note-taking guide. And when we come back together during our meeting on Wednesday afternoon, I'm going to use the coaching guide to talk everybody through the talking points, so we're all kind of learning together. So that's a wonderful opportunity to engage in that material in that way. So this just kind of gives you, again, a little bit of a glimpse at the 88 modules, different topics that really live in this space that I think is really critically important. And the last thing I'll add to that before we move on is that through one of our new programs that we have called Harmony Plus, this is an at-cost program, but if administrators are interested, what it does is you can, as an administrator, assign modules. So they go out to certain teams, all third grade teachers or everybody, and then you can monitor the progress to see who's done, how much of it that they finished. And so it becomes more of a collective initiative. And that's through our Harmony Plus program. And I think I did give you a very quick video that'll kind of talk about that. And Harmony Plus has several other pieces, but I just love that dashboard really allows for the leaders to be able to monitor and really be able to kind of bring in that accountability piece to bringing some of this to life.
Well, I love this. I love that it's interactive. I love that you can do it at your own pace. But I got to tell you, one of my favorites is that you provide a transcript. Like, I love that I could like print it out and then read it on my own or follow along or take notes along the side. So I love that component is also, and there's a note-taking guide, period, as well, that's provided. So there's so many great resources with this. So I love that all of that's kind of provided. And you also said we have a video. Are you ready for me to share it?
Yes, I am.
I'm going to share a quick video with everybody listening or watching right now.
Awesome. Thank you. I don't hear any sound, Todd. I'm not
Yeah,
sure who
I
that
didn't hear
is.
any sound either. Let me try this one instead and see if that will load correctly, because that first one didn't load correctly. So we're going to try one more time,
Yeah, let's try one.
and we'll get that out for all of you all. But this is a quick video that gives you a little bit more information just about the program and kind of some of the other resources that are provided with it. So let's try this again.
Special thanks to district and school leaders for accessing Harmony's no-cost digital resources to support the foundation for building healthy relationships across their schools and communities. Today, we invite district administrators, school leaders, and educators to join Harmony Plus and tap into new site leader tools and classroom resources that support healthy learning environments and promote a culture of belonging in your schools. Harmony Plus prepares you to lead school-wide and district-wide initiatives with new professional development opportunities and tools, such as an opportunity to dive into the Harmony Site Leader Data Dashboard, where site leaders can now assign content to users, track their progress, and access implementation data to support professional development initiatives. In Harmony Plus, you can also access Harmony Leader and Teacher Certificates, where school leaders and educators will gain the knowledge and tools to promote social and emotional learning practices across your school or district. These courses offer the opportunity to earn continuing education units for salary advancement and to potentially use towards a master's or doctoral degree from National University's Sanford College of Education upon completing the certificates. Once in Harmony Plus, your staff will also have the opportunity to join Harmony Connect, our new professional online learning community where they can exchange personal and professional insights as they build community online with fellow district administrators and educators from across the country. Also included in Harmony Plus, educators can bring Harmony curriculum to life with new PowerPoint lessons aligned with our Harmony units. Is your school or district ready to level up with Harmony Plus? Learn more about how Harmony Plus can benefit your school and our discounted pricing options for districts.
So much goodness there. There's so many different layers to this. And that's what I love about programs with this is you can really use something like Harmony to tailor it to be exactly what you need it to be. So, Kamilah, for those who are listening and been watching today, and you want to make sure that they walk away with just one thing from this episode that you really want to stick with them, what do you want them to remember?
What I would love for everyone to remember is that we have to approach our work from a whole human lens. Yes, we have our objectives and the things that we need to do in our professional space, but it's incredibly important that we take care of not just filling even the teacher's tank, but your own tank as well. So please make sure we're being mindful of how we are approaching our work and that we're taking care of ourselves from a holistic approach so that we can have the longevity we need to continue to do the work that we do.
I love it. Well, we hope that everybody listening or watching goes and checks out Harmony and connects with Kamilah to make sure that they can learn even more about this program. There's so much that's free, but the plus side also has a lot of really cool elements to it as well. Kamilah, thank you so much for being a guest on today. And thank you everybody for listening or watching another episode of our TEPSA Talk podcast. Join us again next week for another all new conversation with a different leader from around the United States.